Have you ever questioned whether or not humans are invading our planet? In particular, those that inhabit the deep waters? Luckily, we, the Two Bigs Group, are here to present our discussion about our ecological environment, which is entitled Exploring the Depth of Water Cycle, Epigenetics, Invasive Species, and Anthropogenic Impacts.
First, we have the biogeochemical cycle. The biogeochemical cycle and ecological reserves work together to keep the Earth's ecosystem in dynamic balance. The carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus cycle are closely related to living things, such as air, water, and soil, regulating nutrient flow and energy transfer. These cycles are connected to ecological dams, which represent an ecosystem biotic and abiotic components in a steady state dance in which inputs and outputs are balanced throughout time. This fragile relationship sustains life by controlling food availability, atmospheric composition, and overall ecological stability, stressing the interconnectedness of all living creatures in the complex web of life.
An anthropogenic effect is a result of changes in our environment because of human actions. Intervene on the environment may produce two-sided impacts, negative or positive. Unwanted man-made harm may only be resolved by man itself. The main negative human activities that affect the water cycle are burning of fossil fuels, cutting down forests, and machine-intensive farming. Burning of fossil fuels, it is when fossil fuels are burned, they release large amounts of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the air. While in cutting down forests, trees absorb and store carbon dioxide. If forests are cleared or even disturbed, they release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Forest loss and damage is the cause of 10% of global warming. And in machine-intensive farming, raising livestock for human consumption generates nearly 15% of total global greenhouse gas emissions, which is greater than all the transportation emissions combined. It also uses nearly 70% of agricultural land, contributing to deforestation, biodiversity loss, and water pollution. So, the stated man-made actions mainly produce climate change, which is the critical reason why the water cycle is supercharging. Climate change intensifies flood and drought throughout our environment, since warmer air holds more moisture, meaning more rain producing heavy rains or tsunami, and warmer temperature means less snow, and less snow means less water during the summer. Over time, the ground dries out and can't absorb water, which produces flash floods.
In the intricate web of our planet's biodiversity, a silent threat looms large, which is invasive species, introduced through human activity or disrupting ecosystems worldwide. Based on the 2019 UN IPBES assessment, identifies invasive species as a significant driver of global biodiversity loss, with a 40% increase in alien species since 1980. Driven by escalating trade and travel, their impact is undeniable. Nowhere is this more evident than in our oceans. Marine invasive species wreak havoc on biodiversity, fisheries, and coastal communities, with 1,711 species introduced globally, 59 of which are listed as invasive by the IUCN. Trade and travel serve as highways for these invaders, with shipping as the primary vector, transporting up to 7,000 species per hour through ballast water. Their consequences are dire. Invasive species disrupt native ecosystems, outcompete native species, degrade water quality, and spread disease, leading to a collapse of fish stocks, loss of tourism revenue, and extensive economic cost. From aquatic plants like water soldier and Eurasian water milfoil to invasive vertebrates such as the American bullfrog and Asian swamp eel, these invaders threaten the delicate balance of aquatic ecosystems. Even aquatic invertebrates like crustaceans and mollusks along with invasive pathogens and diseases, contribute to the ecological imbalance. As stewards of the planet, it's imperative that we recognize the threat of invasive species and take decisive action to mitigate their spread. Our oceans and their inhabitants depend on it.
Now let's proceed to epigenetics. But first, what is epigenetics? Epigenetics examines the variation in gene function that are not caused by genetic changes but are somatically inherited. A variety of epigenetic changes in both plants and animals can permanently alter gene expression. Epigenomes, a complex array of proteins and chemicals, are sensitive to environmental stresses, like temperature changes and pollution. Exposure to these stresses can change gene expression and later be transmitted to the next generations. A study at the University of Liverpool showed that pollution-caused epigenetic marks in water fleas are scientifically called as Daphnia magna. After exposure to low doses of pollutants, epigenetic effects persisted for more than 15 generations, even at those water fleas that were not exposed to any pollutants. That said, epigenetic changes significantly form unfavorable outcomes and lays the groundwork for both short and long-term adaptation to environmental change.
As we have come to an end of our exploration in the complex dynamics of the waters around our planet, it is evident that human activity has an enormous impact on even the lowest depths. With the two bigs presentation, exploring the depth of water cycle, epigenetics, invasive species, and anthropogenic impacts, we have been given a glimpse into how our activities and the health of these ecosystems are intertwined. As we look towards the more sustainable future, let's not forget that we have a duty to treat these habitats with care and respect. We appreciate you for coming alongside as we explore this topic and learned a lot.